Here we are again, travelers.
You're
Out of the mists. Out of the mists is I, your host, Eldridge Jack.
all we see is the lantern.
With my friend Rob, the King in Yellow, Harper, and Chopper, the antiquarian from someplace in, where is it? Innsmouth, I believe.
Innsmouth.
He's got
And
the
today,
It's Porth Innsmouth.
and today, out of the fog, this is our, 57th
yes.
episode of Dagon's Tome. So, I'm your host today.
It's the wrong show.
Everyone get your copies out. We're on page...
It's the wrong show, Jack. We're recording that on Thursday.
That's the secret show.
This is Dragon's Tome.
So I'm lurking in the mists.
Wrong show.
Okay.
You're the host still, though.
I'm leaving.
You have. You might have let out some secrets, though.
Do we still have 56,000 subscribers?
No,
Yes.
no, not in this one. Only Dagon's Tome has that much.
Like,
You're ready. Well, next time. You're ready for next time. Don't hit the dog. Put your lantern away.
Don't catch anything on fire.
Yeah, you might want to blow that out before you do that.
okay. Ooh, that's hot. That was hot.
It's a lantern.
So we're doing a Dragon's Tome, are we?
Yeah.
Ugh. Okay. Well, then, I am your host, Jack, for the Dragon's Tome. That is our scaly friend, Rob Harper. And this is the Paladin, Pat Lewis. And we're doing, what is this, episode 57 of
Yes.
the Dragon's Tome? Okay. I'm on board.
You're on board now.
57. Now, let's take a look at the cover. Anyone have anything to say about this particular cover?
Well, I wasn't sure if this was a picture painting
It's a painting by Dean Morrissey. It's Dean Morrissey again.
or if it was just a picture, because it looked really good.
It's very dark, but very nice.
Now, I'm not an art aficionado by any stretch of the imagination, but I believe when it's dark like that in the background, is that Baroque?
Maybe. Do you see the little devil dogs jumping off the flag?
Oh, I didn't even notice that. Then they're going into the fireplace
Yeah.
with the skull in the fireplace.
It's yeah. I think the problem with this cover is that it has a lot of negative space. I think they should have done a full page cover like they do eventually, instead of having the border. Because the dragon would have fit perfectly above her head. The title, it would have fit, like it was almost like it was made for that, and they didn't do that, which is disappointing.
Don't you think that would intrude on the artist's...
Yeah, but it's not. It's about being a cover, not being about a painting, right?
Okay.
So,
well,
it's well done, but I think it's just not laid out correctly by the editors.
I disagree.
Them.
I disagree. Still, $3. $3 the norm. Now
It's going to be $3 regardless. I think
It's got an adventure in it.
A prize-winning module.
it's the latest D&D tournament module.
Yep. Well, no, it's one of the winning. What are they called? Every year they have that contest. I think it's second place. I think that's what it is.
Oh.
International Dungeon Design Contest. Oh, is the prize winner. This is the second contest, first place.
Got it.
Unless you're first place, you're in last place.
Yeah. Unless you're winning, you're losing.
You're very cutthroat.
Okay, so let's do what we normally do. I'm going to hand this over to young Rob Harper to do his thing.
The Dragon Rumbles.
The Dragon Rumbles.
This is January 82, we didn't mention. So it's the beginning of the 82 year. So it's Jaquette. He is reflecting on the state of the industry. He says there's over 60 game companies now, like RPG companies. And it's a depressed economy, but the games are still growing. And he thinks it's because people like to escape into fantasy. Also, RPGs have lasting fun, unlike other things like movies or things like that. You buy a book and you keep playing it. You only experience it once if you go to the movies. And then
he's not wrong. He's not wrong.
No, for sure.
That's why video games became so popular.
Yeah.
You can spend 80 hours for the price of a couple movie tickets.
But even so, it's like, I think video games are not even open-ended like role-playing games. Role-playing games technically could never end, so.
Right, that's what I'm saying. He's not wrong.
No, he's not wrong for sure. And he also says a D&D like RPG was shown on Simon and Simon. Remember the show Simon and Simon?
I love that show.
It was a classic. Where the one guy has what's his name? McCreary?
Gerald McCreary.
That's him.
And the other guy, the blonde guy.
And the younger brother, you always forget his name.
Yeah. Well, it's because the other guy became Major Dad, right?
I think so. Yeah, Major Dad. But I'll tell you what the best thing about Simon and Simon.
What's that?
Is that was in the era of crossovers. So like you would see Simon and Simon on Magnum PI. Yeah. And Magnum PI would be on Simon and Simon.
Fun times.
Angela Lansbury was on Magnum PI.
Yep.
It's all one world. And we all know she's a serial killer, so. He does say since D&D was mentioned in passing without an explanation, it must therefore be that it's in the public lexicon. So even the plebes know what D&D is. And I say, little did he know, that's not a good thing. You don't want the plebes knowing what D&D is. Because it leads to bad things eventually. But it's he was very excited about that they mentioned D&D, and there was the name of the one that the fake D&D on it was called Angels and Demons. So nobody ever made the spin-off Simon and Simon Angels and Demons RPG. Not yet.
No. I hope there's a book and a movie deal in which Simon and Simon make a return on HBO.
A gritty reboot with lots of nudity.
Yeah. Let's see what Aaron Gray's doing.
Is she alive still?
Yes.
I'd still like to see her nude too.
Really?
She's like 80.
She didn't age well.
Oh no.
No.
That's
okay. Well, I'm
inappropriate. Totes inappropriate.
Let's get this back on track here. We're gonna move along from Jake Jaquette and his Dragon Rumbling, and we're gonna go to Chopper. What's your first article?
All right, let's go to page 7.
7.
Modern Monsters.
Yeah, This is one of mine also.
The Perils of 20th Century Adventure. I just, I read this thing and I thought it was an okay article for making adventuring in the 20th century world. But I personally didn't understand the need to, because I'm not too hip on modern adventuring in a fantasy, for the fantasy setting.
Well, yeah, it's like if your characters get thrown to the future kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's not my thing. I mean, it
seems to be everybody does it, though.
Yeah, personally, that's my thing. I mean, there is the exception of, say, like S3, Expedition to Barrier Peaks, but it's almost the opposite, where the future slightly crashes.
Yeah, you're going to Gamma World instead, yeah. So
yeah.
Slightly crashes, pun intended?
Yes.
Because I believe, yes.
Not to give that module away.
I didn't understand it, so it's not spoilers.
Oh.
But he gives stats for vehicles, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking to do that, which is not in my wheelhouse, but everything you need here is what you.
But it's
to make it well.
He says pretty much like if any of these like fantasy characters went into the modern world and tried to fight a modern person, they'd get just mowed down in seconds. Like the weapons have like rates of fire, like they get 20 attacks per turn, and like it's so funny. He's like, without magic, they're dead, pretty much.
There's one where he actually gives the stats for the 50 cal, and then it says it launches the person wearing armor 100 feet back.
Yeah, which isn't true.
No, that is not how guns work at all.
Nope.
But
'Cause if that were true, the gun would fly that far back.
Exactly.
Yeah, what else is lots of, and he goes into like real depth on all the vehicles. Like he describes every single vehicle, every single weapon. Like it's a very long article.
It is a very long article.
But it does bring up an interesting thing. Is it's common English. So if they can't even speak the same language because they come to the future. Is it even close? Is it like Old English or is it like not even?
Well, that's true. I mean, Old English is nothing like English today.
No. Middle English is closer, but Old English is Beowulf. It's almost German.
Yeah.
So.
And then are they even speaking English, or are they speaking Old Irish or Gaelic?
Yeah. Yeah. It could be, or totally some fantasy language. Who knows? But yeah.
They're speaking rigmarole.
For a one-off to go to the future and have a kind of just mix things up. Interesting. I can understand why you'd want to do it. This is a lot of information.
I think this picture is way better than what he actually lays out because it's like Godzilla getting shot at by a helicopter with like a guy in a griffin, and then there's a guy just in a normal car going, "What the hell's going on?" I wish that was stats for Godzilla, but there's no stats for Godzilla.
Yeah,
yet.
Well, we did just do dinosaurs, so
yeah, I'm sure you could use whatever the biggest one there is for Godzilla.
Okay, so I'm going to do my article. If
Surely.
Everyone's done talking about moving into the future,
I think I hit all my points.
We got to keep on schedule. We have our ad break in the middle. We got to get to. So I'm going to have everyone go to page 24 of the PDF.
Oh, that's one of mine.
Random magic items,
and it's right there in the title. Why would anyone like magic items? Because they're awesome. Why would you want them random? Because that's even better. Yeah. Now, what this is basically is more like trinkets and stuff. It's not the magical items that like are game breaking or you're seeking out in treasure hoards.
I put down in my notes a nice chart on making nondescript magical items.
But by design, they're very small. They're very
innocuous.
Yes, innocuous and conspicuous.
I want a fork that gives me +1 in all saving throws, though.
Well, that works well if they're saving throws and you eat poison food.
Yeah.
There you go. Save from poison. You're like, this is good. And the big bad's like, I'll get you next time.
I'd like to have a dried ball of clay as a magic item. Just be like, why do you carry that thing around? It's luck.
You'll see. Now, it's a very small article. It's a half a page. I don't know if you could do too much more if you're trying to do something like a little thing of tchotchkes and knickknacks. You wouldn't want to do a huge table or whatnot. But this, if you were looking for something just to throw in, maybe even as a red herring or something, or I would recommend it. I would have used
because you detect magic on it. It would detect magic, so you'd be like, "Ooh, it's something good." And meanwhile, it's like, yeah.
He did say in this chart, 10% of all these items are cursed.
Yeah. Yeah, curse is always evil.
I think it was only 5, if I remember correctly, but I don't remember. There was a chance, anyways.
That's 10%.
Yeah.
10% chance of cursed. Yeah, there you go.
So, Rob.
I'm gonna go all the way to page 52, I believe, of the PDF. Page 50 of the regular book.
52.
It's the soapbox, and it's play as villain, an evil idea. So Brian Bloom here from Bloomhouse, he says that playing evil characters shouldn't be something people would want to do, and that evil people in real life get ostracized from society and don't go anywhere and can't do anything. I'm like, no. And he also says evil characters must play that might makes right and the weaker to be trampled on. Yeah, there's people like that in the world, and they do quite fine for themselves.
Yeah.
And there's people who are objectively good who have that same mindset. I don't know, Brian, you small, sweet summer child that dances with teddy bears in the forest. I hate to tell you, but if you know what the word corporation means, you know there's evil people that have congregated, have all held each other's hands.
In real life, evil people ended up friendless and unwanted.
Yeah, it's
quite the opposite.
Yeah, quite the opposite. It's called Twitter. But
Or
he also assumes that people will know that characters are evil instantly. Like they'll be like, "Oh, that he's twirling his mustache." It's like, no, there's something called role playing. You can pretend you're not evil and still be evil. So yeah, he's very
all you gotta do is all you gotta do is watch his Mirror on the original Star Trek.
Yeah, or even anytime.
He shows up. He shows up with the goatee.
Yeah.
Yeah, he shows up with the goatee, and everyone's like, "Come on, dude, we can't party with you.
You're evil."
Well, I guess back in his games, like detect evil is like the moment someone joins the group, detect evil. It's like, what?
Yeah,
well, you have no reason to do that.
I don't trust you, detect evil.
Yeah, that's a reason for that spell not to exist. That's for sure. But yeah, really close-minded to role playing. That's really much what I thought about this one. I was just like, really, dude. I don't think it should be all the time, and it would be annoying to have a character, but to add a little monkey wrench into the thing by having one of the characters be evil could be fun.
Like just out of nowhere, not necessarily like have a big plan or something like that, or even just be like obnoxiously evil, but just at some point say, "Oh well, this is what I think we should do," and everyone. What?
Well, I remember playing a Redeemer, which is we'll eventually get to because it was from Dragon Magazine, but he's like a paladin sort of, but he was trying to recruit people to his religion, but he was evil. He was lawful evil, and he was hanging around with a neutral guy, so it didn't matter much for the group. But it wasn't like I was trying to like murder everybody all the time, but he was always scheming. He was always trying to find ways to like get more recruits and find ways, and he wasn't a nice person, but he wasn't like he thinks evil is in like. I have to murder everybody I see. It's the same idea with paladins, I guess. People think paladins, I have to murder all evil I see. It's like, well, there is shades of, role playing. It's not, you don't have to do these things, but
yeah,
they're so like dead set on alignment. I think that's an issue with you can still play within the alignment. It's not hard and fast rules, I would hope.
Yes, I agree. I think the alignment, we've said it many times, was added to the game. It seemed like a good idea, but right from the get-go, it's been a bit of a thorn.
Yeah.
But that article is mine too. So.
Oh, geez, we're gonna go on through this one fast, maybe.
Not necessarily, because that does bring us to our first and fan favorite segment, where we get out your vessels, guys. This is the segment we call the Dagon Flagon, and
wrong show.
What are we drinking?
Wrong show.
Today I'm going to be.
I'm only drinking water here. I'm not drinking the blood of the innocent.
Yes.
We don't do Dagon's Flagons on.
We could do Dragon's Flagons, but I don't think it would be as. It's right. Kind of stealing our own bit. What's the point of that?
Oh no, this might be a short show. We're not sponsored by Quibi either.
No.
Mm-mm.
No sponsors.
Oh.
But please contact us. I would like to be a lord in Scotland and have VPN.
I need manscaping like you would not believe. Yeah. And I'll do it on air.
I could use some manly soaps.
That's right.
Yes. Get some Dr. Squatch in here.
Oh, don't do the names, Jack. You're giving it for free.
Okay. Well, I forgot. Yes, this is Dragon's Tome. So I guess that makes it... Pat, do you have another article to go to?
I do. Actually, I got quite a few this time.
Good.
Let's go back to 12.
12.
My good friend Leonard.
These are always too long for me to read. I don't have the attention span to keep up with Leonard.
This one wasn't actually that super long.
It's too many numbers. There's
a lot of charts. Yeah.
Even as an adult, I look at that and go, "Oh."
So this one doesn't look too bad for a Leonard Lakovka article. So I bring this up because on my notes I wrote down: is this the groundwork for second edition weapon specialization? So basically, the nuts and bolts of this article. Leonard was at a con where there was a demonstration of arms by SCA. And then all this made Leonard think of the charts because he saw that Shield played way more way more prominent role than a +1 to AC.
Yeah.
And then once you lost your sword,
they like hit each other with the shields all the time, and
yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then he did notice that anyone who lost their weapon and picked up another weapon, he could visibly see that person was uncomfortable with that weapon and not wielding it very correctly.
And that's exactly what specialization is eventually. Yep.
Yeah. So I thought it was pretty cool that he put this article after watching that. These charts are basically what if you're making a random character, what your primary handheld weapon would be instead of just choosing one. I don't know why it has to be a random chart for any of these. And it covers all the different weapons from pole arms to fire or hurled weapons to hand weapons. But he did. But again, like I said, is this the groundwork for second edition weapons? Because it does pretty much hit all the points that it talks about in second edition.
Yeah, minus the randomness of it, but yeah.
Yeah.
Because there you choose a weapon that is your specialized weapon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think you're right. I think this was like the proto, this is lightning striking the amoebas in the water of a primitive planet.
Yeah, because I think when we go into second edition, then we get a large shield bonus and a small shield bonus.
Oh yeah, there's different size shields for sure. Yep.
Yeah, so you get a +2 with the large shield, which I think is predominantly what people use in SCA. And then you have the small shield, which is more like a buckler.
The bucklers, yeah. Yeah, I think they also had those like the full Roman Legionnaire shields, which are like foot to head. Those ones too, I think.
Yeah.
Like a targe, I think they're called.
But he did mention a rule for first edition D&D that shields take a beating too, though, and they eventually fall apart.
Yeah, I don't think
he's talking about crushing points on shields. That if you roll a natural 20, it takes one of those points away.
Yeah, they don't. I don't think they have. What's it called? Any kind of weapon or shield or armor degradation yet, but definitely other games do for sure. I don't know if D&D ever does. I don't think they bother with it, but
I don't think you need to bother with it anyways either, because
you assume that they're going to repair it afterwards. I guess. But,
yeah, I mean, I'm looking at this thing, and he says that an average shield would have anywhere between 21 to 60 points. So that means someone would have to roll 21 20s.
Yeah, unless you're really bad luck.
On the low end. So, I mean, you could probably get through a dungeon.
You probably get through the character's whole life before he gets hit with that many 20s. I would hope.
So,
well,
but that was the shields and weapon skills, and it was not as nearly number heavy as
it just looks like it.
It just looks like it because the chart is vertical instead of horizontal.
There's a lot of numbers, but it's random numbers, so.
Yeah, and Len does tend to, he's a minutia guy, and I think as soon as you see like the header there and his name and then a lot of numbers, anyone who's got now a little time in on these magazines goes,
eyes glaze over, Rob goes to sleep.
Yeah, I'm back. I'm back in math class. Just like, oh my God, I don't understand any of this. Like, how did I get here? Yeah. Okay. Well, then it's going to come back to me, and I do not have another article. So, Rob, you got something?
Yes, I do. I have it on page 52, I believe.
Ooh, 52.
Oh, sorry.
You can't be.
No,
can't be.
Yeah, it is. It's 52. It's just the bottom of 52.
Oh.
It's
the other soapbox article.
Yep, the other soapbox article. This is Roger E. Moore talking about dungeons aren't supposed to be for men only. And I started reading this article. I was like, ooh, this is getting a little saucy, and I'm a little uncomfortable. But don't worry, Roger E. Moore pulls it around. But he does start off, his very first line is how he tells about a DM who made a female NPCs to have low strength on purpose so they'd be easier to rape. So it really is like, oh my God, what's happening here?
Oh, Jesus.
And the thing is, like, anecdotal, it's not a straw man if it's... if this actually did happen, that he was talking to someone and they had the nerve to tell Roger E. Moore that that's how he makes his towns so that his players can run amok. Mm-hmm. First of all, most people would just turn around and
that's what he said pretty much happened.
But this is one of those things that when one person says it, the whole group gets tarred and feathered with it. And I can guarantee you every person that read this magazine, minus maybe a 5% of the psychopaths out there, went, no, no. So I'm
not surprised. I wouldn't say no, but I would be like, "Oh, that guy's a freak."
and I was like, okay, well, what's this article going to be? You're now going to slay this straw dragon you've created, Mr. Moore. He actually does get pretty thoughtful and surprisingly,
because the first two parts is all about rape, and I'm like, because the other thing he says is DM should limit the rape in their games if they want women to play, and then he's like, well, actually, there should be no rape in the games. So I'm like, yeah, no shit.
You guys, all right, I'm laying down some ground rules. You can rape 2 people each.
That's it
for the whole game.
That's right.
But he also says that. He also said that like some male characters playing females like getting raped. I was like, what? This is getting really weird. And but he also says how these players playing male characters feel if they got in a deliverance situation. I'm sure they wouldn't be happy either. So he turns the whole thing around, and he says not to limit female characters to be second class, unlike most of the fiction this is all based on, because you read the books back in the day, especially I think he gives an example. It's Gore, I think, G-O-R. It's a famous book series, and
Gore.
It's like it's all about just women as slaves kind of thing. So he's like, don't do that if you have women players in your group. And
by about this time, there was 17 Gore books, so it wasn't just a one-off.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't a thing. Even Conan's a little bit better because there is some strong characters.
Well, I mean, I know if you read the Empire of Imagination book, the Gore books played well into Gary Gygax's childhood.
Oh yeah,
he read a lot of.
It was
books.
A big influence. Yeah. He also says that even one game, some RPG has a courtesan class, and he's like, women don't want to play prostitutes. Like, come on. But then he goes into long detail about amazing women he's played with, including his wife, who did all these great feats and has all these great adventures. And he also says don't make your female players get pregnant. But then he does say things like use wish or magic pills for an abortion or for contraception. I was like, what? It shouldn't even come into that, people.
Or magic. Well, here, eat this Cheerio.
He was giving a out to say like, if the DM is, if the players have engaged in this, the DM is able to because you'd sideline a female character possibly. He just says, well, the gods decide.
Yeah, just don't get them pregnant.
It lets the two characters, the players, do what their characters want to do, but he's able to.
Yeah.
Come on.
It just doesn't happen. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's move along.
And he says, in the end, just be fair, and don't treat women differently. And he turned out not to be as sexist as I thought. I was pretty impressed.
It did.
At first, I was like, where is this going?
And this is coming right off the back of the hedonistic 70s. Early 80s, nothing's going to stop this sexual revolution.
It's only going to peak in the next 5 years.
Yeah, by the 90s, it's got to be full bore.
AIDS kind of puts a damper on all that.
So. Well, yeah, because we hit 86, 87, then you get the AIDS epidemic.
Jack doesn't know about AIDS.
Why would you spring that on me now?
He never watched Big Trouble in Little China.
That's true.
That's a callback to something that never happened on the show.
No, that's from our other podcast. This is Chinatown, where Rob comes out of the mist with a lantern, and then
a bowl of chow mein
and Cheerios. Anyways, that's about it for this article. Enough about rape and pregnancy.
Okay, Pat, what's going on in your street?
All right, my last one is page 71.
I think mine's right here too. I think mine's the same one. This is my last one too. I assume.
It's the review on Champions, the superhero role-playing game. I know the author loved it. I like Champions, but here's where we differ between me and Scott. Me and Scott differ with the character creation.
Was it harder? I don't remember.
It is such a math problem.
What's it?
It's formulas and point values. Like
he liked it because you didn't roll for anything.
Well, that's great. I like point system characterization, but what Champions does is allows you to partial point values into things. So
you can really min max everything.
You can put a quarter point into this power, or you could put 6.75 points into this power.
Yeah.
And then you got to figure it all out. And it's such a math problem to make your powers for your character.
Yeah. I remember playing much later than this Horror Hero because it is the basis of the hero system, which eventually comes.
Yeah, and this is the first version, and we're now, I think we're version 6.
Well, I don't know it
at
now.
This point.
Yeah,
I think we're version 6, and from what I understand, that it hasn't gotten any less complicated.
But we played Horror Hero, and I don't remember that character creation being complicated. So maybe it was just the superpowers that were.
Oh no, Champions! I'm talking about Champions though.
Yeah, but this is the same. It's the hero system. It's Champions.
The hero system, but I think Champions differs a little bit. I mean, just like
the basis of it. But
yeah. I just remember being scarred, making my first and only hero for Champions.
Wow, that sounds like Rifts to me. Rifts scarred us for character.
And I did enjoy, but I'm not going to lie, I enjoyed Champions. The game itself and the role-playing part of it is great. Just the character creation was too much for me.
Yeah. We were Marvel superheroes kind of guys, so we never played Champions as the hero game. So
and unless you knew someone who was very good at making a character in Champion, trying to do it at home by yourself was like, taking college homework home and not having a tutor.
Wow. Hey, everyone enjoys something a little different.
We knew people who love min-maxing. Like some people, that's their joke is making a character and min-maxing everything. And there's people that like randomness. So there you go.
Yeah.
There's people in the middle.
Like me. Okay. Well, so Rob, does that tap you out? Since
no, I do have another one. I forgot about this, but it's a quick one. I think it's on page 82. It's the What's New by Phil Folio and his wife Dixie. And this tackles the bikini chainmail problem. Like, this is early. I never thought, like, now this is like...
Oh, I didn't even read this.
A couple years ago, I guess, it was huge. Like, everybody's fighting against bikini chainmails. But way back in 1982, Folio's bringing it up and saying, yeah. And Dixie's like, this is so stupid. He's like, just trying to prove a point. And it turns out, hey, maybe women should actually wear normal armor. But to get revenge, she does send Phil out in a loincloth to get eaten by a dragon. So it's all good. It's all fun.
Yes.
But I was just amazed that they brought it up this early. That's all.
I will say the bikini chainmail thing is one of those, like, it comes in cycles. And the latest group goes, this is unbelievable. I saw this. This is terrible. I've got to stand up for it. And you go, yeah, it's well trod. I think even in the 70s, people who were looking at that going, okay, that's not realistic. No one believes it's realistic.
Now, who's that one artist that was just recently on? I always forget his name now. Famous one.
Franzetta?
No, there was another one. He was in a Dragon Magazine article that we know.
Boris Vallejo.
Boris Vallejo.
Oh, okay.
R.A. Salvatore's name kept popping in my head. That's what it was.
He's blocking. A writer. He's a writer, not an artist.
But Vallejo was the king of bikini chainmail.
Yeah, but he's not doing a role-playing game. He's just doing art. Yeah. And it's like, that's different. When you're actually trying to play a character who is supposed to wear bikini chainmail, it maybe not be appropriate especially the real argument was that there's too many miniatures that weren't appropriate. There's literally companies that have come out just to make female miniatures because they were all just scantily clad. And they're like,
yeah, they were all
women just want goddamn armor. So I don't think it's like, yeah, people complain about it in art and stuff, but that's different. That's just art. Because like he said in the article, he likes women's bodies and men's bodies, and he liked to show them off. So But that's
He
different
was-
than trying to explain how somebody with that can have an AC 10 or whatever, So
Well, I mean, I guess where I was going with that is that because he was such a prominent artist in the fantasy genre,
oh yeah, that influences people for
it
sure.
influences, yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, you see all the miniatures are just copies of a lot of that art. Like how many Death Dealer miniatures have been made, from Franzetta once again. So yeah, a lot of the early miniatures especially were just like, oh, that's copied from this picture. That's copied from this picture. And probably even 3D prints now. I think there's a lot of that going on where people making 3D print files, it's just copying from art. Like they're just like, oh, here's a piece of art. I'll just copy 3D print.
Oh yeah, the people now that are blendering up these things they'll have a different like library of mental nostalgia to rummage through. So it'll probably be slightly different than what you would have gotten, say, at the time period like the 82 that we're in now. But yeah, I guarantee you're going to have people who are sculpting and going, you know what, I'm going to do a little, because there was a fad for a while that everything was kind of like a bombshell nose art.
Yeah, like the rockabilly 50s kind of style.
Yeah, and you'd look and go, oh, okay, that's a woman in a
corset
tight
with a
Air Force uniform straddling a bomb. So,
yeah,
different inspirations, though. I would think.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yep. That's my last one, though.
Okay. Well, then I will go to the first ad that I'm going to dip down one page.
Yep, that's one of mine too.
Okay. It is for mini games. Now, not only was the art impressive, I like the barbarian hawking what looked like drow. Like
it looks like Nightcrawler the X-Men.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to get bamfed into one of his pals. Then we have a Revolt on Antares. It looks like a kind of a Black Star.
It's a John Carter.
Yeah.
Knockoff.
Yeah, like there's a lot of similarities when you just put a ray pistol into a barbarian's hand and say, there you go. And then we dip down to something a little more. They've invaded Pleasantville, and it's got the
American Gothic.
Yes, riff on that, where he's suspicious. I don't know why, of his wife. Maybe
because she's holding a hoe.
Oh, that's it. Yes, yeah.
She's suspicious of the hoe. She's staring at the hoe like,
yeah.
What did that hoe do?
And then we follow that around to a vampire. It looks like...
Is this Ravenloft?
No. So no. I had two of these.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, but the thing is, I don't remember how they played.
How many did you have on order right now from eBay?
None. 0.
Are they between 9 and 99?
I had Saga. Yeah. I had Saga and Vampire.
Yeah. Looks like they're D6s only.
Yeah. 2D6. They said that's all you need.
I think I remember how they played, though.
And they're really short. They're like 16 pages or something like that.
Yeah, they were small pamphlets. They were definitely about the size of this, like that.
Yeah.
If this big.
I do like they come in a little blister pack, too. That's kind of fun.
So.
Yeah.
I think we used these when playing on car rides.
That would make sense.
With my cousins.
Because even the blister pack has a little edge. You probably use that as a dice tray.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
In the back of the station wagon, unseat belted.
In the very back, facing the wrong way?
Yeah.
Yeah. Classic.
Well, my point of bringing it up was, hey, has anyone heard of these? Because I had not, but clearly someone has.
Pat has.
And if at some point it jogs your memory, oh, that's right, we did this with it.
I can't even remember. I'd have to delve into it again. It's one of those things that we had, but I don't think we played a lot of.
Okay, well, a nice full color, full page ad. saga. Obviously, we've seen that written like that before, and
it's almost like a choose your own adventure. I remember it, but there was a DM and there was a player, and they were players.
Interesting.
Yeah. Okay, well then we'll go on. What
about Pat?
Where do
Pat
you
doesn't have
find
any ads?
Actually, that was kind of my ad, but I didn't have any ads.
Yeah. I do have an ad on page 65.
Ooh.
And the only reason I picked this ad is for one reason. Is because I like the name Wizards and Lizards. and it's, yeah. That Imperial Dragon there looks familiar, though. It almost looks like the old classic dragon we used to talk
The
about.
Kung Fu Lizard?
There's another ad in here that has a dragon that looks just like that dragon too, but it's written out. That's in the background. I'm like, that dragon's haunting me now.
He's everywhere. Yeah, I see him in my dreams.
Wizards and Lizards.
But that's it for me. I got no other. I know their ads.
Okay. Well, that must be the end. I think that
end.
must conclude this this episode. Now, does anyone have anything they want to plug before we get out of here?
Nope. Just
like, share, and subscribe.
like, share, and subscribe as always.
And
Yes.
maybe Twitter will be around by the time this comes out.
Yes, please do. And if you want to, we do have our Patreon, which is $1 for Dagon.
No,
wrong
show again.
Wrong show, Jack.
Oh,
You know, if there is a podcast called Dagon's Tome, they just got a lot of free ads.
it is. It's our other. Okay.
Maybe I just blank it out. Do my eyes
Well,
roll back in my head and I just talk in a weird voice the whole time?
Which is the point.
Yeah, so I don't remember. But the King in Yellow speaks through me.
We already discussed that. That was part of your intro. Anyways, I've been Jack.
I've been Chopper.
I'm Rob.
And we will see you next week.
On the next Dagon's Tome.
A.K.A. Dragon's Tome.
Oh, Dragon's Tome. Jack got me thinking it now, too.
Bye-bye.